Call meeting order.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I have a couple things I'd like to add to the agenda tonight, with your guys' approval. First thing is grant writing. Well, all that was on it was the engineering thing. Grant writing. I'd like to discuss Marshal. And I don't know if it needs to be on the agenda, but the dumpster, I would like to empty it and get another one. If you guys, I don't know if we need to discuss that or just do it. It's full. It's full, and looks like about one more week before everybody's up and running on the trash service. However, the Inglesmith did empty up everybody's dumpsters this weekend. That was full. So.
What about the restaurant El Charro? Did you see their dumpsters?
I think is it still like that?
Full, or they were this morning.
Oh, they was this morning. I thought they was going to empty them Saturday, but I don't know if
they were full this morning. Two of them.
They one is Swingers too. One of the dumpsters there, yeah. So they should still have service unless other issues. I don't know. Then we have personnel too. Can I have a motion to approve that?
The agenda?
Yeah.
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second of that.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. First thing is the rating system. Has everybody had a chance to go through these? I took the opportunity to check with some other towns that has been approved the TAP grant and has already done the RFQ and is out to bid. And looks like Owensville is the most comparable to us, and they are using Archer, if that matters to anybody. But they have already been through it a couple times for what I don't understand. I was just going to tell you that. I just called and talked to the mayor of Owensville a little bit while ago, or actually right before you guys come in. And I called him today, and he just called me back, and he said their biggest issues after they went through this was the surveying. So we need somebody to hire. We need to keep that in mind. Most of these lands are pie-shaped and stuff, and it's really hard to get an accurate of the trail survey.
Well, in looking at both sets, the one engineer looks like they're going to do their own work, and the other one looks like they're subcontracting. Is that the way I see it?
That's the way I understand it too, and I've asked a couple of people about that today. I'm concerned with rating integrity when Bartlett's West is doing the work, so I'm not 100% sure. You know, I feel like we almost ought to be rating Bartlett West instead of integrity.
Yes.
I am concerned about that, yes.
Well, I didn't know if I was getting it right or not.
Yeah. I actually read it, and I had Steve read it to see if I was understanding right, and he's actually the one that, suggested calling Owensville around and talking to them. So we rate these 1 to 10, correct, Frankie? Then we multiply by the weight to get our total to 100.
Right. And it can be tricky sometimes.
So we'd get to 100 on each of these, correct?
No, your grand total.
Grand
Grand
total.
total is 100.
So, but I'm saying if we, like,
Each
number
column.
one,
Each
each column. Okay, yeah, right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 columns.
And how can we rate like number 2?
Yeah, I mean, if we give it a 3, that's 90, correct?
Yeah.
Yes. The way we did it last time.
Some of this you wouldn't hardly be able to rate until they were actually doing the work or
Yeah.
finishing the work.
Unless
Or
you've had them before.
we could kind of guess how they think they're going to do it. But I don't know either one.
Well, you're basing something on something here that's like we did this job and we did this job and they did this
yeah.
job.
Yeah.
And when I look at
They've
the
done a lot of jobs, both of them.
thoroughty of this, and I think Bartle and West must run with, they must be a subsidy, these two, of integrity.
If you look them up online, they're their own.
Bartle and West is their own?
Is their own business.
Well, they have 2 different addresses, I see.
Right.
But they must be working together. I'm saying these 2 engineering firms are working together with this project.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, they're.
Yeah.
Project experience, specialized experience of technical competence with respect to this project. Well, if you look at these books, they're both very qualified by what they've done in the past. I noticed Archer has pedestrian walking trails.
Oh, they both have done a lot
Yeah.
of work. All over.
Didn't Archer Elgin do the firehouse? Did Archer Elgin do the firehouse?
No, Cochran out of Washington.
Ah, okay.
You're talking about Bartlett and West. They are a sub-company to a lot of engineering firms. When Integrity just did the engineering for the new air conditioning, Bartlett and West come up and did the load study. They've got a group of guys that specialize in certain areas where a lot of engineering firms can't employ that many people, especially smaller ones. But I met with the Bartlett and West guys 2 or 3 times up here at school just a few months ago. But they contract out with people all over.
In order to get your 100%, each one of these have to be one times this number. That will equal your 100%.
I don't think you have to choose all 5 categories to say you get to 100.
You don't have to.
I don't, that's the way I read it. You can choose to grade all 5 categories, but you don't have to the way I read it. You may choose all 5 categories, it says in the top sentence in there. Am I wrong?
We did all 5 the last time we did this.
So you would go across this way to get this, and then this should total 100.
Yes.
Is that what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
if you add all these numbers, then you get 100 down here.
Yeah, but you would put a number in here times this to get this number,
Yeah,
and then you total down.
yeah, which would give you, it could only be a 1 unless you gave, like, project experience, if you gave a 2, you're gonna get a 30, so that means you're not gonna be able to do justice to all the rest of the categories.
So you're saying you can't go over 100?
No, it has to be 100, it has to reach 100 there.
So these would all have to be 1.
And how we did this the last time we had 2, and how we did it the last time is, we could only times this by the 1 to get our 100%. So actually what you're doing is, it's like not even pertinent to what it should be,
No.
but we did a 1 and times that number and we came up with a total of 100. We did it on both
1 times 15, 1 times 30, 1
Yeah.
times 30,
And
1
then just
times
vote
10,
on
1
what you
times
want
15.
to use, I guess, because they're gonna get the same score.
Well, until you see the bidding's where the money comes in. I mean, you can't really, and how the bidding's lined out. I mean, I like to see a spreadsheet that gives me each percentage and each cost, and I like to see it nitpicked. I mean, that's just,
So basically what you're gonna do is you gotta sit here and put a 1 on every one of them.
Yeah.
that's basically what we did last
But they
time.
would both be the
Under your
same.
points in the weight
And they're both
column.
even.
That would be weird.
Then it's up to
And
them to
but
come
they're
in with
gonna
the
give
best
us-
price and
Why did they give us the points?
I don't know. This is what Kelly sent me. So.
This should be after we get to do it, I think.
Well, we have to do a pre of.
Well, this isn't a bid. This
This
is
is a
a
bid. This is
RFQs.
Yeah.
Qualifications.
qualifications. So it's pretty given that each company is qualified.
Right.
Right.
Because they've all had experience, when you break down the categories, and these are in categories of 6. But this
Is it-
doesn't have categories.
You can assign higher points to factor
Answer.
what you consider more important.
Hello?
But then your 100's gonna be off.
Hello?
Unless you don't put anything in,
Unless you give
Hello?
something a 0 and then
Uh-huh.
you can
and
give
then
it.
balance it out that way.
Hello?
If you gave this,
Hello?
So do we do it as a group,
yes, we did it as a group.
not individuals?
We kind of talked about it and then we,
Yeah.
well, the number,
I think everybody has to do it, and then overall Kelly will take them all.
and work from that.
Mhm.
Yeah, we have to each fill them out.
You don't put your name or anything on it,
No,
but there has to be one for each.
from each member, yeah, that's the way we did it last time. But instead of using 2 sheets, we,
Select from the category list which ones you want.
Oh, Brett, about,
Do we put the name though?
The way I read it.
Probably email.
somewhere?
Which ones that you're
yeah, but I don't have my city email on my phone, so.
I can't access it from my shop.
You would rate which one you really
Yes,
want
it
to
is.
be good at.
It says it won't allow me. I can do it from my phone, but I don't have it set
I
up.
mean, that-
But
to me, that's what
I don't put it on my phone, because then I tend to reply
what is
all
it?
night long, my city email.
you know,
I had it on my phone last time, and I didn't this time,
Oh,
because
you got an email.
I
one
just,
specific
well,
language.
I guess Steve
You know that our
sent another
contracts
email, but I don't know if
require
it's something you guys need now for me to go get it,
or
or.
it's from Brett, is the SEMA representative, which will be at our next meeting. So I don't think
Not
it's something we need to
necessary.
know.
Like we're gonna put one on there, they can move on down the road, you know,
Okey-dokey.
and go from there.
But it's hard to put like a 1 on project experience when one company already has done Rock Island Trail and one company hasn't. But then you come over to this company and it's, you know, they might have done Katy Trail.
That's why I feel at this time, these companies are actually equal to one another. It's where the bidding comes in,
That's when it's
and down, when you get to the nitty gritty of that is where you're gonna see, okay, well, that, right there is gonna bring out your experience, it's gonna bring out a lot of things.
But we have to pick one of these companies to engineer and survey before we put it out for bid, don't we?
You have to pick one of these based off of their RFQs, yes.
Right. So they're actually going to have to provide a service before we put it out for bid.
If I'm understanding it.
That's the way I understand it. Because Oldsville is going out for bid right now, but Archer has already provided civil engineering and surveying to them for the trail. You see it on this page right here. And right now, they're just going out for bid.
So we don't have neither one of those from our 2 companies.
What's that?
We don't have neither one of those.
What do you mean?
The bids.
The bid, we don't have it
We
yet.
haven't asked for bids.
I'm talking about Owensville.
Oh,
Yeah. What I'm saying, they've already provided a service before Owensville went out to bid on this one. I mean, obviously both firms are capable. I mean,
at At this point, I'm gonna tell you, I can't outrate one from the other. I really can't, you really can't be justify it. Because we haven't went any further with it. I mean, that's everybody's fair game right now yet.
I understand that.
Well,
What's that?
Bartlett West is in here also, in the integrity
Right.
book.
Yeah.
They partner with public and private clients.
That's probably their expertise with the engineers that are out there.
Like past record performance. I mean, you guys
I want the swimming pool.
on number 3. I mean, we obviously have past record performance from integrity, so are we 100% happy with that?
That's why I say we haven't done anything with Archer Elgin, so we don't have a past experience.
No, but we do with integrity.
We do with integrity.
I mean, and we've had issues with that. I mean, I know, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's hard to rank somebody that you have an issue with to somebody that you don't have an issue with because you haven't used them. I mean, I'm not running one down or the other. I'm just
Right.
saying it's
That's
but I
Trying to be
mean,
fair right now.
it's
Yeah.
got to be fair. But I mean, you know, I working with this company might upset me, down the road when I actually work with them because I mean, this company has upset me a few times with our meeting and stuff. So I mean,
That's why I think they're equal at this point.
right.
We
Send
can-
them in equal
Yeah.
and then see where it
I mean,
goes.
But I mean,
And
you
we
know,
only have to do one? Or do we all have to do one?
We all have to fill one out.
I mean, I have no problem with
With no
leaving
names.
past record performance blank on this one, but I don't want to give them credit on this one.
Because
mean-
how can we give credit to somebody we don't even know, we haven't even done
That's
this?
what I'm saying, leaving
Yeah.
the blank. But I'm saying, are you happy with the sidewalk project on Johnson?
Well, it looks good, but
I
how many
mean,
times we do it?
Yeah.
That's just it.
was
you
a
know.
long time.
But then
Yeah.
that was the way I understood it. It was miscommunications between both people. One
It
done
was.
in centimeters and the other one done it in inches.
So they had to go back and recalibrate
Yeah.
together.
So, I mean, how
that's
do
what
you
I'm
do that?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean,
I mean, that's,
but
I'm gonna give everybody the same rating,
I am
get to
too,
the
right
100%,
now.
because we can't justify neither one of them.
no, we can't justify. But you're right. I agree with that 100%. But it's hard for me to rate, number 3 and number 5 when I haven't worked with somebody. I feel like I'm as unfair as I am on the other one.
Well, when we're rating these, to be honest, the reference in the past performance is, we did get it in a timely manner, and the quality that we ended up with, the quality wasn't really, the quality of our schematics that we received was good. There wasn't nothing wrong with our schematics. There wasn't nothing wrong with the timely manner. So this is not the actual job done. This is the pre-work, the engineering work.
The quality of work was okay, it was just the,
It was the
Then the-
miscommunication.
Was communication? Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I would think that was a pretty important part of performance, though, was communication. I mean,
But when the engineer presents
Right.
it to you,
But-
and it was just a mistake made by, I mean, I don't know that it was a mistake made by the engineering, it was a mistake, the construction guy.
and I understand that 100%. My problem with communication is when we have to make a decision that we have no forethought on.
Right.
Like when they come to our meeting and say, "Hey, we need this filled out within the next, 12 hours or something." I mean, I have a hard time believing that. That was our deadline. I have a hard time believing that the state would send something to an engineer firm said, luckily they're having a meeting. I'd go to this meeting and get this signed. I mean, it's hard for
Well,
me
we
to.
kind of did have, it was kind of working on that scale at the time, it really was. And then
Yeah.
it was kind of like, we pushed it away because we didn't do any further work with it as a council. It got pushed away, and then the firm had it ready, and that's how this all happened. It's like, you guys, because he did forewarn us.
Yeah, but we've done it 3 times in 8 months that I've been on here.
Yeah.
So I mean, 3 times that they've come to the meeting and said, you have to do this now. And I just don't believe that happens.
Well, we knew this had been already a year in the works.
Yeah, I mean, and these are all our opinions. I mean, it's nothing we need to argue or nothing.
Right,
It's
yeah.
just,
Right.
and that's what I'm saying. It's hard for me to knock these people though, and give these people credit when I know nothing about them.
We know nothing.
It's right.
So
So, I
we
mean-
do it all the same.
I'm gonna do them both the same.
I think I will too.
I mean, it's fair to both. One's fair to one, fair to the other.
What if I do it in pencil, I can erase it?
Don't we have to pick one tonight though? If, I mean, rating them all both the same, but we still have to pick one.
Mm-hmm.
We have to pick one tonight?
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to give them all one, so I mean, I'll tell you guys that right now. So everybody's own opinion. Do we write their names on these?
Yeah,
The
Which
company
from
name.
your,
yeah, at the top we did.
Yeah.
You know, at some point too, you can go down. I mean, you know, and I don't know if it's right or wrong, but I have to go through with, you know, recommendations I've heard from other contractors, not just one or two, but you know, that's what my opinion's based on.
Stack the rifles together.
And part is, I don't know either one of them, other than
Right.
just what they done in front of the house, but that was our local contractor doing that, so I mean, I don't.
Yeah, I'll just give them thank
Yeah.
Well, they could've been standing in my front yard and I didn't know it.
We've done a lot of projects with Integrity, our lagoon projects with them.
I've just have talked to, I've asked around different, you know, I've asked around about the projects in Bland. I've asked around, you know, some stuff in Bland, some different places, and some different companies that work all over. Now, I'm not saying Bland and Lena stuff,
Right.
but that's where I got my, you know,
I have a nephew that works for Rolla, City Rolla, and I kind of talked to him a little, and he said, I wouldn't recommend either one of them. That was the exact words.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
And he works with a lot of them because, you
Mhm.
know, he works for the city. So, I mean, that was his answer. I'm like,
Don't even
oh,
know.
yeah.
okay. I wish we'd have got a third one.
You have a third choice.
Oh, that they've gone. So, a different project.
If you're looking at that book, it looks like Orchard done most of their stuff more south, ain't they?
Yeah. What I liked about Archer is, and I'm not trying to beat one horse over the other, that they have done a lot of these TAP grants.
Real close ones, pretty local.
Well, they've done, and I was going to look in here to make sure to see, but like these transportation assistance program grants,
Yeah.
they've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Have you worked with both of them, Tony? Have you worked with both of these companies? No?
No, Archer, they were top runner-up whenever I was on the board. And we went with Integrity. I worked with Integrity here and at the school both. They're all about the same, actually. But Archer, I don't know, if Orchard does the same thing as Integrity and farms a lot of their work out to other branches like that Westbrook company. I don't know. But you can look at those books and they're gonna give you references.
These people made their own books, so I mean, they're not
Yeah,
gonna,
Yeah.
you know,
You're gonna put somebody in there that's gonna
Yeah.
give them a bad. So if you recall references, it's just like putting references on an application.
yep,
You're gonna put somebody down that's gonna give you a good reference, so I mean, you can take that with a grain of salt.
yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been down that
In my
road.
opinion, there's a lot of engineers that are wasting time. The only reason why we gotta go through this is because it's government money.
Government
Can't
money.
use it for school.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But if you had somebody, if we didn't have to go through that, federal money, you probably get that done for half what it's gonna cost. Prevailing wages is a waste of time.
I opened this book enough, it's coming apart.
I've already done
It has some city clerks in there for you as well.
Do you want us to add you guys?
No, thanks.
Come on.
This is not my forte.
Yeah, what I know about engineers, they're needle.
One thing I know is on past record of performance or whatever, you know, I know we don't need to listen to one person too hard, but Jimmy is definitely not real happy with the work that he's performed.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think all of us up there trust him quite a bit. I don't know how to, I mean, you gotta get, both people are gonna get 100, no matter how we do it here, because that's what that's the system that they got for you here, is to make it all over 100, so that it doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Right.
So if you go and give them a 0 on past record performance, you gotta give them 2 somewhere else, and they still get 100, so it doesn't really matter.
Right.
My question, are you guys gonna take bids from both of them?
We have to pick one, right?
Or you have to
This
pick
is
one
just
before you do the
Yeah.
process?
We
This
have
is-
to do this first. Qualifications. Review qualifications.
So if they both get 100%, then we're looking for a bid in. That's what we're looking for? Is that what I'm gathering? from
Yeah.
you?
Yes.
If they get equal numbers, then they'll both be
In the
open
running.
to do a bid.
That's the only 2 people that you
That's the only
contacted
2.
you on this?
Yeah, there was
Yeah.
a lot sent out.
Yeah.
MRPC sent them out. And I went through the list today. That's why I questioned the list to see how many there was. Several.
Yeah.
But everybody, I mean, like I told Daryl, those that are from far off know this is a requirement, so they don't even waste their time.
Right.
You know, with even respondents, so I get it.
These are the only 2 companies that are passionate to really want to help us. I mean, you know, they're both, I think.
When we did the first project that we did was, I think we had
Like
three
Orchard had 35
to
employees out of
choose from. When we
Yeah.
did,
10,
was
they
it
got
the
10
lagoon
out of
project
Integrity.
maybe? We had
I
3.
seen that when I read the book
I'm
last
trying to
night.
remember where that
10
other one was
versus
from. We've
35.
never heard of
It
them
was out of
before.
Jeff City
There's
or
10 employees.
something. Or
Yeah.
somewhere in that area.
35
I
through
think
Orchard.
Columbia.
Was it Columbia?
And that's why I think that Archer is not subbing it out to this other company because they've got enough in-house. That's how I gathered it myself, but I don't know if that's right.
Well, I kind of thought that the way to, but then the engineers with the other firm, when they're including 2 firms, they're using the expertise of whoever that person is.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's kind of the way I gathered it by reading it.
Well, I know that Westbrook is like the bid. They've got different people in places with, like you said, expertise.
Yeah,
And like a lot of the small engineering firms couldn't employ that many people.
yeah, so that's why they work together with other firms.
These boys are making this so difficult.
Well, the thing of it is this
That's what I
section
think.
might be
This
with
second
this
column is
firm
be
and
gone.
this section might be with that other firm, depending on,
I could be. It's a 100-point scale. That doesn't mean anything to
No.
you have to end up with 100 points when you get done. I remember that from last time.
You have to have 100 points?
We had to have 100, we had to equal 100, didn't we?
So no matter what, you're gonna get 100.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
Yes.
saying, it doesn't matter how you rate it, we're killing time here.
and this is just gonna be turned into them and then they'll
Those are
bid.
Kelly St. Clair.
And whoever comes in with the
Unless
bid.
I read the damn thing wrong.
I think we're all going into a big pool.
I don't know. You know anything about this, Delmer?
No, but probably some of those questions are weighted so that I think a person needs to look at the ones that you have a high rating on, and then you give zeros to the other ones, and then you pull those high numbers and see which one has the highest numbers that you guys pull from. But I don't like Tony, it's a waste of time and energy, because you're gonna have to come up with.
But it's a requirement, unfortunately,
Yeah, I can say,
you know.
and the logic behind it is very,
Yeah.
I don't really
There is no
understand
logic
why the
behind it.
logic is,
There isn't
but
no
I've been through
logic,
it
yeah.
before, and they're sad.
Yeah.
When you deal with federal money, you gotta jump through hoops and jump through hoops just to satisfy.
Give somebody else another
It's-
job.
it's-
That's what it does.
Wait,
Unfortunately, it's somebody sitting behind a desk somewhere that's justifying his
Yeah.
means,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
if you don't do it, you're just out of the system. And it's hard to make a decision when you haven't dealt with one of them.
Right.
And I don't
Yeah.
think we all.
And see, they just gave us a booklet of the jobs they've done and
Yeah.
references
Like you
and,
said,
Yeah.
yeah.
if I'm
So-
gonna give you
Yeah.
I'm not gonna tell you.
references, I'm gonna give you, make sure you get the ones that
That were
Okay.
successful.
Nice.
back the most, not the ones that's, wanna be truthful about the errors that you might make.
Yeah,
Right.
it's not gonna tell you the pros and cons.
No.
Right.
Went down.
That's right.
There's gonna be errors with all of them.
That's right.
Yeah.
You're gonna find someone that isn't going to like one, you're gonna find someone that isn't gonna like the other one. And
Yeah, it's like Chris
hard to
said,
make a
I wouldn't
judgment
pick
when you've
one.
never dealt with one of them.
Rule 4 says you may tailor the factors in the category column. So we could. I don't know.
I don't think it means that we all have to be agreement.
No, that's why we all
No,
have
that's why
Everybody
everybody fills out
individual,
the-
Yeah,
Just as long as all the totals come up to 100.
yes.
And if you want, I can try to call Bonnie and maybe she can explain it better.
That's the way we did it last time, that's all I know.
You have Bonnie's number?
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you try to call her?
So at the end of this, we're not gonna pick one of these firms, we're just gonna.
We're gonna give them both 100.
Qualify both of them
Yeah.
and then they both make a bid.
I guess I've overthought this for the last 2 weeks. I mean,
So yours rings.
you know,
Hey Bonnie, I'm
But it says
sorry to bother
in
you
that
so
number
late,
3 there, it
but
says
we
upon
are
receipt
in
of
the
bids, each
meeting
bidder shall be rated.
reviewing
So-
the RFQs for engineering on the trail.
If we get their bids, or we're gonna have to go through
Can
this all
I put
again.
you on speaker and you explain to them how the rating goes? Because it says 1 through 5, but then it says that it should be 100. It's a 100-point scale.
I think it's just like you would bid on your point scale.
No, the only way you're gonna get it to be 100 is to give everybody a 1. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so select the category list and identify those factors, 1 through 5, you believe to be most important and relevant to this procurement and this project.
that's what I
You may
talked to,
choose all of them,
Jill
and
sent
remember
us a
that
message
these
the other
same
day.
factors should be
Haven't talked to him about
specified
it really in
in the
person.
bid
They don't
solicitation
about this
process so
particular
that
thing.
all
I mean,
potential bidders may
the past
construct
6
their
months he's
bids
told me what he thought it is.
appropriately. In
Yeah, I
order to
talked
gain
like
a
Magda,
100-point
you know,
scale,
the
assign
people.
points
I talked
to the factors 1 through 5 chosen from the category list. Assign higher points to factors you consider more important. Enter your points in the weight column. But the weight column, Kelly already has filled out.
Our traveling, our
So,
softball team, our traveling coach.
That's why we were,
He's the guy, the head guy at Plex. They're the ones that sponsor our team and stuff.
okay.
I was asking them because they're the ones that done. I noticed in here where
Oh,
they've done
shucks,
like a
okay.
iron team and stuff. And, you know, I asked him about what they thought. And,
Just have her call my cell. It's
you
573
know, they wouldn't bid for this.
201 7758. All right, thanks. Bye-bye. She's not sure. She's going to try to reach out to
It
Kelly
says
and see if
upon
she can call us.
Upon receipt of the bids, each
Right.
bidder should be rated in regard to how their bid reflects each factor. We don't have
Bids.
bids.
It's n- and she says we can't consider it.
That's what I was trying to do the first day we got this, was get bids. Remember, and they come and shut us down and
Yeah.
said, slow down,
Yeah.
you're moving too fast.
Right.
And-
Okay,
Yeah.
just remember to refer to it as reviewing qualifications, not bids. I'll touch base Thursday when I'm back in the office.
Yeah, but we don't have bids.
No.
Right, it's
So we're
RFQs.
looking for qualifications.
I just feel like I would want to see a bid from both of them. That's going to play a big factor in who I would want.
Well, me too. I just want to make sure that we can get the bids from both of them. I don't
Right.
want to leave here and say, well, this is who you pick, this is your.
Yeah.
That's what I'm scared about.
Can we do that since we've turned our RFQs in? Can we then apply for bids?
I don't know. I've been shut down on everything I've tried with these people.
We don't know what we're supposed to do really, because you're told this and then you turn around and you got to do this.
You know, they sent us a
And that
check out for the
sales been a
grant.
mess.
You know, and said you have, you know,
This long as
$800,000 to build this trail. We could build this trail. I mean,
Yeah.
you know.
Right.
Well, and that's why somebody that's familiar with grants, having them involved is crucial.
Right.
Or you want to talk about something else for a few minutes?
Say, do you want to postpone this?
I got mine set up.
Huh?
Me both done.
She didn't know if she could get a hold of her. She was going to try, so.
Was that Bonnie?
I had this brought to me from, well, it was at the last council meeting, we was in here, but they dropped it off. Amy Bledsoe's given us a proposal. She has found a police department grant that she is very positive that we qualify and then we could get. It'll be awarded before October. Basically, what as far as these small town departments, it will fund one officer.
SRO?
No, not SRO.
Oh,
Has to be a
okay.
regular officer.
Okay.
If you guys want to look at these, this is
That
the proposal.
Officer would work at the school though. Is that what we're saying?
It would pay for an officer that on the street, not the
Okay,
school.
got it,
Oh, okay.
Got it.
Oh, it's federal.
Oh, here. Hello? Hey, sorry to bother you so late, but yes, can I put you on speaker so that they can all hear you? Okay, just a second. Okay, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
So can you explain to us, because if it's on a 100-point scale, your grand total has to equal 100, correct?
Well, yes, ideally, yeah, the way you would break out your points would be that. But let me ask first, how many did you end up getting?
Two.
Okay, you know what? When you get that few of a number, you know, you can do a little more informal on your scoring because you're really just comparing two. The evaluation sheets come in more handy when you're like going through 10 or 11.
Right.
You know, so this is really what you're doing when you send out the request for the qualifications. You listed out several things. Is you wanted the engineer to tell you about their experience, their location, and so on and so forth. If you're looking at that in front of you, so each of their qualifications of the two firms, should outline that. What is their experience with recreation projects, trail design, things of that nature. Have they worked with the city before? Have they worked with the RTP program before? So they probably put these kind of things in their little packets that they sent you guys. You could also look at, let's see, I think location, like their familiarity with the area, their proximity and so on. Those are some of those things that you'll see in there too. So really what you can look at is just compared between the two, do they both have experience? Do they both have references? Do they both have their E-Verify submitted? That was one of the things that was requested in your ad. And then all things, let's say all things are pretty much equal, then which firm, does the city have more familiarity with? Or which firm specifically has Rock Island Trail experience or something like that? And you can simply use that type of evaluation to help you choose one over the other. And you can go down through, if you want to fill out the evaluation sheet for each, then you can just say, I don't know, experience. You might want to put a lot of points on experience if that's, where the most of your value is placed. You can, assign a good number of points to that. And then, their proximity or location, assign fewer points to that section or what have you. And then just do by consensus, how do you want to score, ABC firm, versus that XYZ firm. And then you can just make your evaluation selection process that way. But if you don't even want to fill out those sheets, since you just have the two firms, you really can just go down through and say, okay, do they both have experience, in the recreation trail development, or did they both turn in their E-Verify? Did they, so on and so forth, and then you all can weight one of the firms over the other, maybe based on past performance or better references or just simply their experience in this realm. If one of the firms is a real powerhouse in water and sewer, but the other firm has more experience in, parks and trails, that might lend, more points to to one firm over another. But otherwise, all things being equal, if say, wow, these are two really good firms, we would be comfortable working with both. We happen to have, more familiarity with this one, over this one. So we're going to start with this firm. And then what you're not awarding a contract at this time. So what you would say is, well, this firm, we are going to enter negotiations with this firm. And so then that's when you go to that firm, say, hey, based on our evaluations, we would like to, work with you all on this project. Here's our budget. Here's the expectations. Is this going to work for you all? And if the negotiations don't quite work out, if they're then you can always go to that second firm. So it's not like, when you're bidding out construction and you're like, oh, we're awarding the contract to the low bidder. When you're working just based on qualifications, you can say, okay, we like this firm a little bit better. They edge out the other firm. We're going to call them up and negotiate with them first, see if we can come to an agreement to work on the project. If so, that's who we're going to go with. If we can't come to an agreement or they can't get to us in time or anything like that, then we will, move on from them and move to the next firm. Only having two firms makes it fairly simple.
Okay.
We can't go to both firms and ask I would like to see the bidding and stuff before I would decide. I mean, you know, we're talking about a lot of money here, so.
Well, so, and I, technically with engineering firms, they're not bidding your project. So what you would do is you would say, okay, this firm, you know, we're all things being equal, we have, you know, we've evaluated this firm as our top priority. So you're going to reach out to that firm and you're going to say, okay, based on evaluations, we would like to enter into negotiations with you all. Here's our budget for this project. Here's our timeline. You know, can you all, you know, do this within the means of the grant? And if they can, great. But if they cannot, then you can say, you know, okay, you know, thank you for your honest reply on that. We are going to go to the second firm and negotiate with them and see if we can come to an agreement with the second firm. Nine times out of 10, the first firm that you select is the one that you end up contracting with, because they understand the scope of the work and the budget and all of that, and they'll tell you right up front, yes, we can do it within the budget, you know, or no, we can't, or so on. But you reserve that right to say, if you cannot come into an agreement with your number one firm, you reserve that right to go to that number two firm and, you know, and then negotiate with them to see if they could finish the project within your timeline and budget and so on and so forth. But the odd thing with engineering is that they're not considered bidding against each other.
Does anybody else have questions? Does that may help you?
Is it, yeah, or did I make it worse?
We're all just sitting here looking at each other. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. I might be overthinking this, I'm afraid.
So the weighted amount that you have in there, Kelly, that's just the standard.
Yeah, it's just from the sample. And so if you all wanted to change those weights around based on what your priorities would be out of this engineering firm, you can certainly make changes to that. You would just want to make sure that you're applying it, you know, equally to both firms. So if you're weighting proximity, let's say, you know, you want to make sure that you're applying it equally to both firms wherever they're located.
I haven't had any experience with them.
Do you guys have any other questions?
No, thank you. I mean, do you have any more questions?
Well,
And I will say, you know, we have had, you know, it seems like in the past 2 or 3 years, communities have received fewer responses from engineering firms. So we have had a lot that have foregone actually using the evaluation sheets, but instead in their minutes, they just kind of explain that, you know, hey, they evaluated both based on this, that, or the other. They decided, you know, to work with this firm first, and that, you know, and to go into that, and they just have that in their minutes. Others still go ahead and do, you know, an evaluation sheet just to have, you know, a little something more on their records with that. And so you're certainly, you know, more than welcome to do that as well. Or your group that's there, you know, can simply just do the evaluation of the two, determine which one you favor, and say, okay, we're going to approach this engineering firm first and see if they're, you know, willing to work on the project. And you just put that thought process into your minutes as to why you chose this firm over that firm. And that can work as your evaluation just the same when you're only dealing with two.
okay.
Alrighty.
All right.
So I will I'll be in the office most of tomorrow, Frankie. So I'll probably just give you a call.
Okay.
You know, see how y'all ended up tonight, and based on any decisions that you make tonight, I'll give you a couple more little steps to do there. Okay.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Kelly.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. Have a great evening.
You too. Bye-bye.
Okay. All right. Bye-bye.
Sound like a dog chasing his tail.
Yeah.
How many times can you say evaluation?
And not understand it.
One more time.
And not understand it still.
Still don't understand it. I mean, I get what
Pretty
she's
much.
saying, but
Is there one of those firms that has more dealing, it sounds like we're talking about engineering the.
Rock Island.
That's the only thing
Yeah.
we're concerned about. Is there one that has more experience?
Rock Island does, of trails,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rock Island has more experience on trails.
Or Archer, you mean?
No,
Rock Island.
Integrity does.
On Rock Island Trail?
Integrity does. Has more, trails.
They're more, they're like bridges, sidewalk projects. Is them.
Archer is.
Archer is. When you get in the scope of this, you can tell by the thickness of the book that they've covered a wide variety of
Yeah, they have.
what they've done.
Well, we have
Wastewater.
Trails.
We have two companies in this book versus one company in this book.
Yeah, that's true.
So I mean, you can't really go by that.
Yeah. But I mean, they're all gonna work. These two are in coincidence with other, where they have their specialized
But
person.
will it cost us a lot more by going with the two?
This one will cost you more, I will tell you that right now.
So,
Based on what?
Based on history that I've heard from Jefferson City, from Rolla, from,
See, I mean, I'm not arguing with you.
Yeah.
I've been asking around for the last few days, not for totally opposite. You know, that's what I'm saying right now.
all I'm going is, previous experience is, anytime you're dealing with an engineer, you're gonna have to go back and rescope and rescope. That's just a
That's
given.
my question is both of these companies willing to work with local contractors?
Yeah.
That's my question.
I would be, I don't know about them. I think they try to get, they try to do everything on a high scale right here. They're just, that's how they've gained a reputation, I guess. But when I look at what we got here versus what we got here, I've worked with Integrity 5 or 6 years. We've worked with them and I know projects that have really come off. We've gotten a lot of free work with them. As I don't feel like everything here is gonna cost us. I'm just going from past experience.
Right. I mean, I'm just going on
Yeah,
people that's actually doing this every day and stuff. And
right.
but I mean, since I've been sitting at this meeting, I sent out to two people I know that's been doing some big jobs. And I'm no farther. One of them said you got to go with Bartlett's West, and I didn't even mention that name. And the other one,
Bartlett and West,
and the other one said Archer. So I mean, I'm still.
50/50.
I mean, this is 50-50 since.
Yeah,
I mean,
We'll only get quarter if you want to flip it.
yeah, that's. I mean, I just asked who. Bartlett West done all the work in the city of Lynn.
So if we choose one of these companies tonight to submit a bid, and like she said, we don't have to accept it.
The way I understood her is whatever one you choose, then we're gonna go to them and say, this is our budget. Can you work within this?
And this
If
is our
not,
schedule.
then we'll have
This
to go
is our
to somebody
timeline,
else.
Budget and timeline.
If
Another,
they can work in our budget, we have to accept it.
right.
The one you pick, that's the way I took Kelly, yes.
I was talking to Steve Oat about it earlier, and his thoughts on it was, I let him. He was at the shop reading both books. His thoughts of it was, and he made a good point to me. If Integrity, he asked me if I thought Integrity, going into this water and sewer infrastructure problem we have, that, maybe we need to go with two. Maybe they're going to have their hands full with the city of Belle with the water and sewer infrastructure.
Integrity.
Integrity.
Yeah, they've done.
So maybe
that.
we might consider,
That's a very good idea.
the other company for the trail. You don't.
But I don't want this. Yeah, we could stay in your budget, and then you turn around like so many of them do, and it's like, oh no, we need another $750,000, which happens every day of the week.
Yeah.
Are they going? Are one going to cut their work back to be not to be
To meet the-
substandard
To meet the budget.
versus to meet the budget? I mean, an engineering firm is an engineering firm,
Right.
so.
Well, then there you are again, either one of them can do that, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying, you know.
It's a lose.
They could.
It's not fair to say it about one or the other
No.
because we have no proof, is what I'm
Right,
saying.
yeah,
You know, it's not, I mean, it's, I have trouble saying, well, this company's gonna charge us too much because we
Right.
don't know that. I mean,
we don't know that, yeah.
did we used to use Archer Eldon years ago, Frankie? I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure when I was on council first time, we had Archer Eldon, we switched to Integrity.
I thought that's who did the firehouse, but he said it was Cochran, and now, when he said Cochran, it
Cochran was the
registered.
engineer, CD was the general contractor.
And there was issues there, wasn't there?
Oh, not with the contractor and not with it. All my issues were with MRPC.
Oh, that's right, yeah,
That's all I'm gonna say.
I'm
yeah.
not going any farther.
Still bad taste in my mouth over there.
So, we've already got something going with,
Stevens' idea.
We already got them
We've
going
got a
with
lot
our,
of pre-work with Integrity.
that's what I'm saying.
We spent a
How
lot
much
of
time
money.
are they gonna be able to devote to us?
exactly.
That's what I'm concerned about.
I think Steve had a good idea. Really. Go with one for the,
Sometimes you can
One
stay with a
project,
company too long
one
and they
bid.
get complacent.
That's what I'm concerned
And,
about.
You know, sometimes you need to shake things up just a little bit. Let them know that, you know, we can look somewhere else.
Yeah, that's what I'm concerned about. I really hate the way we've been treated at our meetings in the past few months. I mean, I really hate showing up and talking about bond issues and increases and stuff that is not put on the agenda where people know that they could come listen to it. I mean, I feel like we're trying to hide too much stuff with that.
Have we asked this worker to ever come to a meeting?
Well, he called me today and said he would come to the meeting, but he volunteered. I didn't think we needed him. I didn't think this was going to be quite so complicated.
I kind of like what Steve Bolt said.
I do
I
too.
kind of like what Tony just said too. I mean, you know, it's like,
You ask if these companies are willing to work with local help.
yeah.
You know, my concern is local help willing to work with these companies. You know,
Right.
That's why I want to submit for each one of them to bid. I want them to come, I explain the situation.
but we have to have a first one, right? Is that what she just explained? We can't put them out to bids unless we're not happy
Yeah,
with
see,
the bid.
I never seen a project where you didn't want
Never.
multiple bids.
Yeah.
That doesn't even make sense.
You're not even getting a bid, you're just telling them what you're willing to spend.
Yeah.
Yeah. And see
you
what
know
they
they're
do.
gonna-
Not even getting a
Yeah,
bid.
we're not getting a bid. We're telling them right up
Yeah.
front how much money we have.
And you know they're gonna spend every damn bit
I
of
bet
it.
you'd let people buy cars like that, wouldn't you?
Oh, yeah. You know?
But what I'm saying is
No,
that
they won't. I tried to buy one.
that
you
gives
never
each
sell it.
one of them equal right to come back and say, and I'm gonna get a schematics, and it's like, I've had several people work at my house, and I can tell you, did I do it on bids? Some yes, some no, and then they had to fix their screw up for nothing.
Well, we got to watch though. We're in a time frame. We can't go out for bid.
Right.
Then 90 days down the road, say, well, I don't like this bid. We got to go out for bid again. And we don't have that.
I know, that's why I would like to see multiple bids.
At the same time.
Yeah.
Why
the
not
same time.
invite them to a meeting, both? Tell them, both of them to be there, and
But we gotta have this turned in by tomorrow.
We don't-
gotta have it by tomorrow.
This
By
happened,
law.
yeah.
Yeah.
One thing
Which-
about engineering companies, they already know how much money you have to spend on it.
Everybody knows. Once we got awarded that grant, everybody knows.
They're out there, just like with the school up here, when we got that, I forget what they actually called it, that COVID money. They knew to the penny,
Yeah, because it comes from the state.
And they knew, and then once they
Public
submitted what
information.
this project we was gonna do, they already knew about how much it was gonna cost to do. It was gonna take every dime of it,
Every dime.
every dime.
So if what I understood a while ago, that doesn't have to be 100. We rank one over the other, council-wide.
Well, what I understood her to say is we don't even have to do it if we don't want to.
No, but we need to decide which one we're happy with going to.
That's not the email that I
Right.
got was.
From what I understood, the council as a whole needs to decide which company they want to put over the other one to bid first, right? Is the way you understood it just now?
So we can take, even though our answers don't equal, each one of us have our own, what we filled out, which, that should be, you should have your own program. So we can, from our evaluations that we add, we can say, okay, we want to give this guy a try. He's got so many days to do this. And then we can still go to the other firm and
Correct.
say, well, this is what's expected of you. We're not accepting anything at this time. We're just getting one bid before the other one. Correct?
Correct. Well, that being said, I would like to go to Archer Elgin first.
Okay.
I mean, and it's not any disrespect to the other company.
Right.
But I mean, I would like
You want to see what they have to offer?
I want to see what they have to offer, and I don't want to pull thoughts away from our infrastructure problem right now.
Right. Yeah, because there's a lot of pre-work been done there.
She said that as long as the council decided, they didn't really necessarily have to fill out the
Right.
evaluation form, but it had to be something that's unison, that the city council said, yeah, this is where we want to go.
So we don't have to turn
And a
these forms
reason
into
for
them.
put the minutes.
Right.
That way I
Not the way
understand.
she said this time.
We're just using them for our own use.
Let's
Last
take a
time
vote.
they had to
Let's-
be-
Somebody want to make a motion?
I make a motion, let's take a vote on it. I mean, I've sat here.
Let's take a vote on
I've
what?
listened to everything.
You want to take a vote on it? What do you want to take a vote on?
I need a yes or no.
I've sat here and I listened to this, then I sat back and I look at what was said about Johnson Street. Then I just sat here and I heard what Steve said. So I'll
It's
just
a
be honest.
crapshoot.
I make a motion, we vote on it.
I stood at the end of Johnson and
So
said,
you want to
this
make a
will never
motion to
work.
vote that we go with Archer Elgin right now?
I do.
Okay. Do I have a second on that?
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye,
Aye.
Done deal.
that's
Done
done
deal.
deal.
And we'll keep the other company for the other.
Where was you at 20 minutes ago?
Sitting here doing the same thing you were overthinking.
Overthinking it.
They were over there trying to fill out 2 little
I
pieces
sat
of
here and I
paper.
thought about what Tony said and what Steve said.
Did everybody look at this?
We did.
Yeah,
It's done.
Everybody have any interest in it?
The
Yeah.
only thing was the zero,
it's
yeah.
$1,500.
Yeah. You want to make a
If she's
motion on
gonna
that?
write the grant and complete
Do
the
it all.
grant for $1,500,
And she got a grant.
Yeah, I thought so too.
For the school district or something.
Now, do we had, she basically said we had to put something in the minutes of why we chose one company over the other if we weren't gonna do those sheets.
I think Steve's theory is good enough.
Yeah, I think that's a good theory.
I'd just say Steve and references from the audience and
Yeah.
past contractors. That covers it all, I think.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion.
I agree.
that's why I made the final to ask to make sure, and then I knew what was coming down the pipe.
So you want to make a motion on this?
I'll make a motion.
Anybody
I'll
wants-
second it.
All in favor? Is this the right to police officer grant?
We moving too fast, boy?
We're begging for money here, people.
Can I have a copy of that? Zero?
Huh? You can have that copy.
Yeah, I'm still.
This, I had it at 0 because Barb pointed out it was this copy.
It makes it, there's a comma and 2 zeros, there's a
Yeah.
comma and 3
We need
zeros.
to sign it.
Okay.
I'll click on them.
Yeah.
Should I sign them both and give her a copy and we keep a copy?
Rest of the stuff, no.
That's my expertise.
It's very
Is it Amy Kiso or Amy Bledsoe?
Kiso.
Hey, she's been good at this.
Yeah.
And received.
She's one to receive the school grants.
Mary knows Kiso, but she was a-
That's, I
Yeah.
mean,
She was a
You find that
Kiso- she was a
zero?
Kiso now.
anybody can blow it on horn.
It's close, it's,
I would take $750.
keep going, I think it's the 4th page, or you found it.
Yeah.
Right?
It's the 4th page, maybe.
4th page, you already
Yeah.
added the 0.
She left out a 0, just a small thing.
We could use a police, another police officer for sure. Would definitely sum up some of the other problem with it.
Today, the 24th?
Yes.
You want to sign that too, Janelle?
She wants to be paid by May the 9th or something like that.
Oh, well, that's easy.
Write a check.
Let's go to Charles.
This is for a police officer.
Grant, to write the grant, police officer. Go to Amy for grant writer.
I'm totally lost where we was at.
See if they put the extra 0 in there.
We got that done.
So while you're lost where you're at, can you add us, we need to talk before, we didn't know the meeting was on Monday.
This is
Well,
just a
it's a
special meeting,
special.
it's not a regular meeting.
Well, we need to talk to y'all and
Got
it'll
it.
take about a minute and a half.
Go for it.
Go ahead, hand it,
All right, corner of
500.
First and Forest and Green. You're talking about infrastructure, which is what we're talking about. They're putting fiber optic in. They put fiber over there. As far as I know, everything's right, except for they reburied that fiber right on the east corner. And there's a big hollow spot under it.
About 3
Where
foot.
it looks like, when you look up in there, it looks like there's a cavity in there 6 foot long and 3 feet deep. And it's the recent rain just kind of eroded a little hole there. And we're worried about the little kids getting off the bus right there.
Are you talking at the corner, or are you talking there at the daycare?
Straight across from the daycare.
Across, by your house?
Yes.
We're,
Across.
same place you guys put the culvert in for us, which was fantastic. But that same corner right there, they came in and redug
Yeah.
and did that fiber. And now there's this huge.
Well, they're
you could
still
bury
in
a body
town.
in
They're
there.
still working over there.
They're-
But it's from the weather sunk.
Well, they
Yeah.
just reburied it and it didn't really sink. If it had sunk, it'd be fine. It just hollowed out.
Okay.
So you don't even notice it unless you get up there and look in that little hole this big around.
And we're afraid of a little kid to fall.
And it's
in.
hollow under there.
I think that
So-
hard rain put a
I'm
damper
sure-
to that.
Yeah, I'm sure the weather eroded it somehow, but it didn't take the top off of it.
Yeah.
It's just a shell.
We're not complaining, we're just
Yeah, we're
concerned
just
about
very
kids.
concerned, one of them little kids get off that bus and walk over on top of it.
Absolutely. I've been talking to Darren Wilson every day.
You
He's,
guys know
Yeah.
who to
yeah,
contact. so.
I will take care of this tomorrow. I'll see him in the
Thank you,
morning.
sir.
They
You
were on
bet.
our street again today.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
Darren's everywhere now.
Darren's everywhere. He's, yeah. But I'll take care of that.
That's
Yeah.
something
Thank
to watch
you.
out for, obviously.
They'll
You
just
want
have
these
to
back?
fill it in.
Thank
Appreciate
you
it.
for bringing that
We're
in.
not complaining.
I never
Put that
noticed.
on mine.
I noticed we've got to
You want to keep them just to safe?
up there on each end.
Yeah.
So we go in
Yeah,
and mix
let's turn
them.
these in just to be safe.
Yeah, but those are drains.
Ours just got filled. I live back in the circle area.
Right?
They just got filled.
Keep
But
on
they're
going.
solid. No, mine are solid in yours.
They usually have a crew come back later and fix
But
all
it's been
that.
there for a couple of weeks and we just
Yeah.
now showed the hole.
They're going to some of the first stuff they put in.
Yeah.
It just now showed up.
How you did it.
They're still tying up, tying in and all that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna be away.
Yeah,
What a job.
Okay.
What a job they do.
But I will see that. I'll contact Darren first thing in the morning.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, we don't want nobody get hurt.
They're over here pretty early.
Yeah.
Darren's again by, he's usually over at the warehouse by 6:30.
Yeah.
All right.
Marshall?
Marshall and dumpster. You guys okay with me emptying the dumpster, bring another one?
Yeah, I think we already proved that.
Yeah.
Have they complied pretty well? It
Yeah,
doesn't
we've-
look like it's just trash and
No,
not
it's
tires.
I actually went and looked at it a while ago. You know, they've pretty well felt it out even and stuff. I mean, there's a big vacuum on top, but that come from us, Frankie said.
We get a vacuum out there.
A
Yeah.
vacuum
Oh.
drive on trees.
You guys have a problem if I
You
buy?
have to pay for that.
You care if I buy Teresa a new vacuum this week?
Get a good one. Quit
Yeah.
getting that junk.
She prefers, actually, that one was from St. James, but we've had it a long time.
Yeah.
She prefers a bagless.
Uh-huh. That's what I got last time
So-
and it's great.
I tell you, I got a Dyson. and
How would I
love it.
know? My niece cleans my house. She's one usually.
I love it.
Let's jump. I'm sorry, someone said. Oh. All right. Spent a lot of time talking to a lot of people this week about. Spent a lot of time talking to Amanda too, several times, about the Marshal salary. This is the case that I told you guys about last month, or last meeting, where the city of Fayette added
Okay.
extra duties. This is what they done, and they went to court and it was upheld. Now, Amanda's read it several times, and you know she said it's obviously a grounds for that we can defend her, that she could defend if we wanted to. Her best opinion, she told me after we've done some research, she's doing some reading. Ordinance 115-020 in our ordinance book was set up years and years ago that Marshall could be appointed as street commissioner. That's when they set it up for Herb Henley. and receive salary.
He was a street commissioner.
Right. Now, Amanda suggests that's the way to go. If we choose to, she said that, that she thinks that's better. She thinks that, Jerry obviously could, if he wanted to resign and go back to chief, he'd have to run in April. Not April is the only time we run city on ballot.
Yeah, the others.
But she don't know if the public would be happy with doing that.
If they're going to be happier doing that than they are going to be
Well, that's
giving
what
a salary like that.
Well, it's a double-edged sword. She said that
Yeah.
he'll have to run again if he gets elected again next April. He'd have to do the same thing, and they might get tired of electing somebody that does that. She said since we already have that in the ordinance, now on the flip side of that, there's nothing that we have anywhere that specifies street commissioner duties. So we could set forth,
Ordinance?
huh?
Have to make an ordinance on that.
We could set forth the duties that the street commissioner would get. So,
Should we do the ordinance before we appoint him?
we already have the ordinance. It's 115. We have an ordinance book here.
115, you said 20.
-020.
It's down.
This is a copy if anybody wants it from the city of Fayette if they want to read it or anything.
115 what?
They sure didn't make the
Dash
news, I know
020.
that.
If
Tuscany had actually fired theirs and hired him back.
It says the mayor, with the consent and approval of the majority of the members of the Board of Aldermen, shall have power to appoint a city treasurer, city attorney, city collector, city assessor, street commissioner, and night watchman, and such other officers as he/she may be authorized by ordinance to appoint, and if deemed the best interest of the city, the mayor and Board of Aldermen may by ordinance employ special counsel to represent the city either in a case of vacancy in the office of city attorney or to assist the city attorney and pay reasonable compensation therefor. And the person elected marshal may be appointed to and hold the office of street commissioner.
the reason why the street commissioner is important is a lot of the duties of the other things already fall under the blanket portion of the marshal, so we can't double duty that, double dip that.
So we can appoint, we don't have to put that up for bids.
The point.
You better make 500 copies of that so that when they come knocking at the door down there, we got a copy that shows it's right.
Well, we have it on recording right here. That's
Yeah. I would like to.
it's not telling that she was completely wrong, is it?
No, Steve.
Okay.
I would like to see something from our lawyer to back this up. That we had written to the lawyer and spoke with the lawyer.
Oh, yeah, that's not a problem because I've talked to her every day about it. She's in court today, but
Just to cover stuff.
yeah, I mean,
You know what I'm saying?
I don't have it on email with me.
This was 23 years ago.
23 years ago?
1980. Oh, no, it's more than that.
40 years ago.
43 years.
23 years ago. 76.
Does anybody want to see this before I close it?
No.
Oh, that's what I got that.
Yeah.
That's what I got yesterday. Read the bottom.
Yeah, I've talked to him several times today about it. They've also filed a complaint about you. So John's also filed a complaint about you.
Oh, yeah.
But what he told them is they can ride in their yard.
Okay.
Well,
That's
with
not
the
what
salary
he,
of
see what he
officers
says.
of the city of Sherman
Grab my blood.
changed during the time for which he was appointed or elected.
We'll give me a second. One thing at a time.
They were forced by city too. It's like they were.
Yeah.
So what are we thinking?
Did you hear us thinking?
I didn't. I didn't know if you was talking to me. I was talking to.
No,
But-
she was kind of talking out
I
loud.
was talking out loud.
Oh,
I was reading out loud. I hear myself better that way.
but I believe that's something we need to get accomplished sooner than later.
We gotta get the man paid.
Got to get the man paid.
Yeah.
Do you need a motion?
I would like a motion, yes.
Yeah.
What's the pay?
Whatever he was making before.
We have to keep the marshal pay because that's two separate jobs. So it's $1,200 a year. So I feel that he should get the marshal pay and what he was making before.
Whatever it was before, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which is 25.
So being
Come
street
help her with
commissioner
those
will be
minutes.
hourly then?
Yes, for the council. Pleasure of the council. Anybody like to make that a motion?
So his second title is the street commissioner.
Street commissioner.
What about job duties?
Well, we.
And she has to come to the council for that because that's financial.
Duties and responsibilities including formulating policies. This is off the state. Managing daily operations, planning use of materials and human resources.
I can't see.
Oh, my glasses.
Thought maybe.
Well, mine are 1.75. I started at 1.
Mine are 3.5. With the bifocal.
Engineer compensation. Contract paid. Nothing else in here.
No. All this is that the board of the town has no say.
There's nothing in
You
here.
could complain, but that's not the issue for the complaint. Complaint is you have to do it through the police department like dispatch. You can't call directly to them. You don't have any more special powers than your neighbors, what I'm saying.
That's what they're.
That's the complaint.
That's what he's saying?
That's what the complaint was, yeah. You're exercising your position when you don't have the right to.
So we don't have a right to call Jerry or,
You call the police. You don't have the right to call somebody as alderman.
so our citizens cannot call us and complain. Then what?
Yeah, they can, we're
They
elected.
can complain.
Well, that's what happened. I had 4 calls. So I text Jerry and then he got back with me, told me Morgan was on duty. And I'd messaged Morgan and asked him if he was on duty. And he said yes. And I told him what we had. And he come up and he told him. Well, then I got that message from John. So I just went down there and I wasn't gonna text him back, I just went down and told him that, yeah, it was a problem. We had other citizens, he said, well, Jerry's our marshal, this is what it is. So, okay, I've got a job to do too, I've got citizens calling me complaining.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And, so, I mean, I don't know.
I went down there and talked to him again today, and I told him I couldn't choose between one ordinance over another. All ordinances had to be treated the same, and if it was an ordinance, it had to be followed. I told him he could ride in his yard, but the roadway it had to be licensed, tagged, and him have a driver's license.
How old is his
10?
10?
Oh, well, he should be on the street.
But as far as in his yard.
Yeah, but
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing we can say about
But
that.
that's what I told him. I said, I can't, what was let go of in the past or looked away from, can't be looked away from.
So you didn't give him permission to ride around the block in the street?
No, I said,
Okay.
if they had partial ownership of the alleyway beside their house, if they had an alleyway, they could ride in that.
I think he did before, tell them that, but now he told
Yeah,
them.
but after I read the ordinance this morning, I went back and talked to him this morning.
Yeah, he told me you come back and
And I told him, I said, they're gonna be treated the same all the way across the board. He can ride in your yard, not in the roadway.
Doesn't he still have to have a permit?
Not inside his own
Not
property.
Inside your property?
No.
Yeah.
So my kids can ride around in my,
Yeah.
well, I don't want them doing that, they tear up the grass.
yeah.
Just tell them they can.
Have you seen his
If they
lawn
open
up
up
there?
your yard, I mean, technically they can, as long as they're inside.
That's the
there.
one up there on Taylor Street?
Mhm.
Johnson.
Okay,
Johnson.
Johnson. He's not listening to you, so you might have to go back. Just saying,
We know.
I talked to him.
because we've seen him.
Yeah, he told me he wasn't mad or anything, but he don't
He
want
thinks
to.
we're singling them out, but we're not.
And
It's,
that's
they're
what I
the
mentioned on what
But
was,
you can't
There's
control
only-
the kids.
I understand.
They
Yeah.
like everybody else,
I can't,
you know.
I gotta treat every
Being
ordinance as if
picked
it's
on.
We
the
need to
same with
schedule
everybody.
at the park to renew ATVs and that.
What have you done at the
Did we have a motion or anything a while ago?
For what? For the.
Street commission.
No, Street Commissioner, I make the motion that Jerry be appointed as Street Commissioner.
And you already had job duties for that, Darryl?
And
Well, we have just what we looked on,
that he be paid
suggested by the state.
Marshal fee plus his salary. Does that make sense?
Yes. That's something that we can work,
You have to have a
we
second.
can add and stuff too.
Mhm.
So we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Oh, I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Adam?
Aye.
Jeanette?
Aye.
So,
Twice.
Huh, all four, yes.
Now,
I voted twice.
if it comes down to going to court, Amanda is gonna represent us.
Absolutely.
yeah, she will.
Yep. Yeah, she got we talked all the way from Lebanon to Belle yesterday on the phone.
That's nothing new.
Yeah.
We go in there and we talk personal.
We
for
started
2
talking to
hours.
Lebanon and I was losing her at Division Airport. One other question I have while we're talking about the marshal salary. I've talked it over. Jerry asked me about it. He's put his hours in since the election. Can we give him his back pay?
What do you mean? What are you saying?
He hasn't received his pay since.
Oh, since you
Election.
got elected?
Yes.
But I've still been doing my job.
He's still been doing his job and putting the hours in every
Did
day.
you keep a time card?
Huh?
Did you keep a time card?
With
Well,
the
CAD
county-
report.
With CAD.
CAD?
I'll
Okay.
have my on duty and all.
Okay. Another thing is, our CAD was supposed to be matched with our time card. That, when we discussed that, we discussed to match the time card and the CAD.
Yeah, we got our time clocks in.
We got them?
We got them. They haven't been installed yet.
Are
but
they fingerprints or?
They are fingerprint biometric time clocks.
Okay, good deal.
Good luck with that.
So, is everybody okay with his pay or?
I don't
Yeah.
know, I'm getting paid.
Huh?
Do we need to vote on it or?
I think so, probably.
93.25 or
I'll make a
90
motion
cents.
paying for
Mine's 35. Mine was
Do you have a second on that?
Here,
Adam made a motion to pay him for the hours he's worked. Okay, report Bud is seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
So this is something I put together a while ago.
I don't understand. Can you,
Huh?
Char, I don't know how to explain this to Char. Hours worked from when to when?
From the election time till she quit paying
April
him
the
till now.
4th.
Because he
April
hasn't
4th.
been paid.
Yeah, I'll talk to her tomorrow
Is it
about it.
from the election or
From the day after
he's-
election.
The day he was sworn in.
The day he's sworn in.
Oh,
The day
yeah,
he's sworn in, not election.
That was April
Payment up
17th,
until he was
16th.
sworn in?
That
He
was
he hasn't been paid since he was sworn in, so that was last week,
17.
17th to now. This was some stuff that I was thinking about a while ago. I don't know if you guys, we make any changes you want. But since we're talking about the time clock, we need to have some kind of rules or some kind of offenses if they're not using it. Sorry. Need another one?
Yeah.
But, and this is just an ideal. This is, huh?
Adam made a motion. We don't have a second.
Bud made the second.
Oh.
All in favor?
We got done.
What's that?
We done all the favor.
Yeah.
Time clock
We need some
rules.
guidelines. It doesn't have to be these, but
Pretty much covers it.
Same rules as above.
yeah, the first but
If
they obviously can't stop and clock in
it's
and
an
out.
Emergency,
Right.
then we can go off the CAD report.
Right.
When they went to work.
Right. They, I mean,
But
if
then
they're,
at the end of the shift, they didn't clock out.
you can't clock out through, you have to, you need to
Okay.
clock in after you get done with the call.
Okay.
But you can't clock out if you don't clock in.
Right. Okay, I get that now. I got it as soon as.
Right.
Can't clock out, you didn't clock in.
Going to be paid for that time period.
And like I said, I'm open to anything. This is just suggestions. We have to have something in writing.
The third offense is failure to be paid. I don't know that we can legally not do that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just saying, if the third time you forget to clock in, you know.
I would say you do.
So after the second offense, you want to suspend them or terminate them?
I
Or,
think after the
No.
third offense,
I mean,
I'd say 30.
what I'm saying is like we talked about, before. If you clock in and you haven't clocked out, you work for 48 hours. I mean, we obviously can't pay them for 48
Yeah,
hours.
But I think that the third failure to be paid for that time period, we cannot not pay them. Legally, we cannot. We have to come up with a compromise for something.
Well, I agree with that. I mean, I'm just brainstorming here, so.
And then I would say the next step is suspension, because if you lose 2 or 3 days' pay, you're going to think twice before you don't clock
So what are
in.
you saying, like a second written warning? That way it was documented, or? I mean, we're obviously,
Yeah.
the first offense is a verbal warning, but we're going
Yeah.
to have to document that we had a verbal warning, or we can't give a
warning.
written
I just-
warning.
I'd eliminate-
They're all got to be documented, but
I would eliminate the third
eliminate the third.
offense. I mean, that's
Well,
just my suggestion.
I would give it a third offense, but I would give them only a minimum pay for that period, is what I would do.
So if they're scheduled for an 8-hour shift, we only pay them 8 hours, no matter what.
Yes.
Okay.
And they work 12 or whatever, we only
Right.
pay them the 8 hours.
We pay them for what they're scheduled for.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then if the fourth time, come on, people.
Right.
You gotta be responsible enough to.
Right.
I know. I'd say do away with the suspension
Do away with suspension? You just terminate them?
after the fourth time.
Okay.
That's on number 4 on the list, yeah.
If you don't get it before 30, you're not gonna get it anymore.
I agree.
Just take out this
Well,
suspension.
I've been accused
on.
of being a jerk for a while, so I didn't want to. I thought I better put an
You're
option in
supposed to be
there.
grown-ups, so y'all be
Yeah.
responsible to earn
there
your
would be
money.
No
Day
suspension.
off or nothing, it'd be after
And
After
nobody
the third
can,
offense, you.
nobody can clock in and out for anyone.
Well, you
Yeah, that's
can't
the
have a
fingerprint.
That's why we.
Our timesheet's got a fingerprint.
Okay, fingerprint.
Question?
Uh-huh.
Because they will do that every day of the week, when you got 49 of
Have
them.
you talked with them?
The company?
At the Maristar
What do you mean?
And I forgot to clock
So
out
they're-
one night.
We put in a fingerprint time clock back in 2010.
Uh-huh.
And first couple days, it got used, and then all of a sudden, nobody wasn't using it. If it's not reading, it's not reading. You can go up, I think it was up to 4
She
fingers.
trusted me.
And if you work with your hands a lot, your fingerprint actually changes.
Mm-hmm.
So I was married at the time, I was getting excuses, well, it's not reading, that's why we didn't clock in. It's not reading, so we didn't clock in. This is all a bunch of horse crap.
Right.
You're gonna have
Just been doing
something.
it. That's why they're just giving you a heads up on the excuses that's gonna come.
Right.
But I talked with the representative from Time Clock, and they say, yes, if you work with your hands a lot, your fingerprints do change, and it may not read them.
My phone won't ring.
So more likely, you're gonna get that excuse when they say, well, I didn't clock in.
Right.
But then if they do clock in and it doesn't register, is there something that shows that they tried?
They should.
That one didn't.
That one didn't, no.
But I
I
mean,
might be able to clock in when I get there in the morning, but I couldn't clock
I've
out at
been
the
down
end of
this
the day.
road, it's good, you're
but I
not
mean,
gonna
at that point, I think that they should stop right where they're doing is call, somebody, me or somebody, and say, hey, I'm trying to clock in and I can't. That way we have record of it.
Somebody do it,
I
they do
also
it really
see-
quick and they just
Right.
take off,
Yeah.
they should make
I
sure
also
that
see
it
another
registers.
exception.
Have we done
If
away with
my
the other
child
time
falls
clock
and busts its
because-
head open
Yeah,
and an
people
ambulance
clocking
is
the
called
people
to the
in.
school, do you think I'm gonna take the time to clock myself
Oh,
out?
absolutely. I think any extenuating circumstance.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got a good group of people. We wouldn't want to. I mean,
Yeah, because everybody's gonna know you're
I
leaving.
think if we have a reason, if they're
Right.
their kid or anything, yeah.
So I'm just giving you a heads up.
Paid for.
You will get paid for the hours that you work.
The time clocks automatically will, when they're installed this week, will upload all the time straight to Charles
Charles?
QuickBooks or whatever she's using. It'll automatically
Why'd
be
you guys
done.
go away from them, Tony?
They just quit using it.
They quit using it, so you said
I
they
didn't
were.
run- I wasn't married anymore after that, so I went back to being an alderman. And they just
Cause it wouldn't work half the
I don't know
time.
where that clock's at. They took it off the wall and who knows?
Okay.
We
Couldn't
have-
tell ya.
I actually have one for each building.
Yeah, each department separated that way.
Each department.
We used to have a
Is-
fingerprint.
Well, that'll help
one
Charlie
in,
too.
In our office.
Really?
That's probably the one we bought then.
So,
We had,
My
I
suggestion-
don't know if it still works, but it's on the wall.
My suggestion would be to make them fingerprint their non-dominant hand. Because if it's,
Yeah.
you don't use it all the time. Like me, mine would probably read on my left because I do everything with my right.
you don't know.
I use both.
Mine
So do I.
I use tape all day, so mine won't read, my phone won't open up my fingerprint.
Really.
But I think at that
It's
point,
like your paintball tape.
I think at that point, if you contact me or Charles or somebody and say, hey, I'm trying to log in, we can make a note of that. And-
Yeah.
And I don't think they need to fingerprint in and out on court 9 council meetings and stuff. I mean, we just write that down and add that to the duties. So,
Yeah,
can I have a
that's
motion to
not
accept
hard.
this so we can add it to the
I make the motion.
second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That is all I have, guys. Did you have something, Tony? I'm sorry.
They also have apps that do the same thing, that clock you in, clock you out.
Like on my nursing apps, I do travel agencies,
Yeah.
and it clocks me
It
at
tracks
my
everything.
location where I'm at, when I clock in, when I go to lunch, where I'm at, it tracks my location.
We was
My mom's
afraid
nurse
that-
did that.
Huh?
My mom's nurse did that.
Yeah. But if you give your phone to somebody else, could they
Did that.
do that? That's what we was worried about.
I mean, they could, but the chances of them going to your work just hit the clock.
The same places as doing it. You're right.
They
I
ain't
can
gonna go to
imagine
work.
locking
Yeah.
somebody in if I have to be there to work. I don't have to be there to work.
Yeah.
But
What's
I said I wouldn't be clocking anybody in if I gotta be there to work.
No, but
You need to be there to work.
I used to work at the body shop. You'd call and say, hey, I'll pick up everybody's breakfast, clock me in, and we'd swing by and get donuts and stuff. And
Well, we're usually doing office work.
yeah. Have a motion to adjourn the closed session?
I'll make that motion.
Huh?
Quit asking if I had something to say.
Oh, I thought you said
We don't do
no.
anything about the zoning of my property.
We already have a board of,
Adjusters.
adjusters set up that was redone after Gordon Oliver died and stuff a year ago. So I was going to send it straight to them since we already have one. If you guys have a different idea, it's up to you.
Five-person board?
What's that?
It's a 5-person? or
It's a 3-person. It's one that was used before with the city, or with the planning and zoning in Belle. I mean, it's a 3-person board. we could add 2 people to it. You guys could make a motion and vote to dissolve it. It's in the council's hands at that point. It's just what scares me about dissolving it is I mean, I don't care what we do because I'm ready for it to be over with. I'll be honest with you.
We're living it.
You're living it, and I feel for you.
To be over.
But I mean, I don't know how it would look if we dissolve it on a case-by-case basis.
Why, well, if we dissolve it completely, my feeling behind it is the council has the right to be that anyway, so we're double dipping when we have a right to override that. The council does. And if the planning and zoning approved it, then the next step should be what we do with it.
To go to the council.
Mhm.
All right. And then if they appeal it, we can go to the Board of Adjusters. But I mean, I'm sure this is going to be appealed.
I can't see
But the
spending
council
money to
can
waste
adjust
it.
over that board adjusters.
It used to be, went with planning and zoning, and then it went to the city council, and if they turned it down or whatever, then it went to arbitration. Was the use of it.
Yep.
And if you don't get satisfactory in any of the 3, the only other step is go to Marshal County Courthouse.
So tricky situations, whatever you guys think. Keep in mind that we'll have to have a motion, a second to vote on that, on something
Gotta
that's
have an
not on the
ordinance.
agenda. Huh?
You gotta have an ordinance.
And an ordinance.
To disband it, you mean?
To disband it or anything.
We better cross all of our T's and dot all of our I's.
That's why I kind of asked a couple times if anybody had an amendment to the agenda a while ago. That was my.
Either way you do it, you're probably
That
gonna
was
go
all
right
good
back to
news.
where it already been. Whether you use the planning and zoning as the adjusters, or if you use the council as the adjuster. If it's appealed, it's gonna go back to where it began anyway.
Well, if the council becomes the adjuster, Board of Adjustment, then we gotta add one person.
Mm-hmm.
And if we use the 3 that was Board of Arbitration back then,
Mm-hmm.
we gotta add 2 more people to it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Right now we have
Randy Jett.
no Board of Arbitration is you,
Oh.
Sue
Grubbs.
Grubbs, and Terry Connors.
Oh, okay.
Terry was appointed when Gordon Oliver passed away.
Yeah, we gotta make a decision on this one way or another.
I do have a letter where a guy asked to be on the Board of Adjusters.
I did ask Erica.
Huh?
I did talk to Erica.
What'd she say?
said, well, I might consider that, but I don't want nothing to do with that trailer. That's what she told me.
Yeah.
Who was that?
Erica.
It has to be somebody in the city.
Yeah, she's not in the city. Well, her
That is
business
that.
is, but she's not.
Huh?
So that ends that one.
Yeah.
Sue Grubbs still in the city?
Mm-hmm.
That city out there?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know.
Well, we have to do one of the other guys. We either have to put it on to
Or
the
add 2
board
more.
that's there and add 2 to it, or we have to disband it and
So we
we have to do one of the
Doesn't
other.
make
We gotta
any
get her.
difference.
It needs
Have to
be
make a decision.
Put to rest.
Would have been nice if we'd had that on the agenda.
It'd have been great to have been on the agenda.
Afraid to.
That makes me nervous, but I understand where you guys are coming from. I'd like to see it have a sunset on it myself too, but I do feel like it could be a violation. But I'm not opposed to having a meeting, or if you guys want, or if you guys want to make them. There's a motion on this and a second on the floor. I can't stop it, so.
There's a motion, a second?
No, I said if there's a motion and a second on the floor. then-
Brady's like, let me go down here, how are you?
I'm saying
have that
if
yet.
somebody was to make a motion and a second, you know, we'd have to go to a vote at that point.
With who we're dealing with, we gotta make sure we get it right. We know that. And it can't stop you right now, right?
I don't have a problem with you guys not voting on this right now because it wasn't on the agenda. I know the rules. I'm not putting you on the spot. It's just-
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's been
So
drug out
if
too
you
long.
need to have another meeting and put it on the agenda and do everything the right way, fine, instead of somebody coming in on the back door and screaming the bloody murder.
That's exactly
I
what I think.
understand.
I think we'd be better off to do that. I mean, I know that,
Well, there's nothing that can stop you from doing what you're doing now anyway.
Right, the outcome
Are we going
is
to
not
board
changing.
arbitration, or are we gonna be the board, or what is that?
So you feel more comfortable doing it when it's on the agenda?
Yeah, I
I
would.
do, but
Okay.
we need, are we gonna be the board of adjustment or and appoint one? Are we gonna find two more to put on it and have them meet before?
Again, it's really something we shouldn't decide without being on the agenda.
Oh,
Right.
I mean, you know, that's still in the same, you know, that's so you have a motion to adjourn to closed session?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Roll call.
Roll call. Adam?
Aye.
Bud?
Aye.
Danette? Barb?
Aye. Bye.
thanks.
Did they buy?
I was hoping she wasn't sick.
Did they